My name is Brittany, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce everyone else. Oh, y'all can call y'all own name.
I'm Alexis Spate.
Imani Davis.
How you doing? I'm Derek Ferguson.
Alexis Ryan.
Kevin Smiley.
And we're going to go ahead and proceed with the questions. If you have any questions in the comments, go ahead and put them in there. We're going to get them answered for you guys. But we're going to go ahead and proceed with the next question. And we had some technical difficulties. Charge it to our head and not our heart. Thank you.
Due to there being no church in person during this pandemic, I feel that my relationship with God is not as strong. How can I strengthen my relationship and keep faith?
Go back. Go back to what got you to God in the first place. The presence of the storm is not the absence of God. So when we do endure or go through certain things, our faith is supposed to be it's supposed to weather and waver. It's supposed to be challenged. This walk is definitely not for the faint at heart. It's going to be hardships and it's going to be challenges. I face challenges. We all face challenges, but that pulls us closer to God. You taking a step back from from church or from God, so you feel like there's always a way back.
Well, for me, of course, by me just being a musician in church, I'm used to just being in church already. But when it first hit and I had to really look back, like I said, take a step back and really see where I really was, I would say personally, from what I've always hearing at COF, I'm learning that faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. So if you have any kind of videos from any kind of preaching from your pastor, you go back and listen to those videos and read your word on your own, study your own. You really start growing as a person more spiritually that way.
Thank you.
And two, I want to add something else. Your circle matters. So if you surrounding yourself with a bunch of your so-called friends, your friends, if you going through something, they don't point you back to God, you need to reevaluate your term of friend. Because your friends going to tell you to go back to God, go back to your word. They're going to pray for you. They're going to intercede on your behalf. They're going to go before you, and so you can go to God for yourself. And if your friends that you kiki-keying with and hanging out with, but you low-key suicidal and you losing your mind, or you down in your knuckles, you in the mud for real, if those friends don't pull you back to God or draw you near so you can get back to the cross, you need to get some new friends, because that's not it.
Yes, thank you. Have you been able to mend, repair any friendships during the pandemic? And have you lost any friends during this pandemic?
I don't think I lost any friends. I feel like I lose friends slowly as I get closer to God, because I don't feel like people can keep up with the progress that I'm making with my faith. But I encourage people around me who distance themselves to get more involved with God and Christ, and hopefully it'll bring us together with something we have in common. I don't think I mended too many friendships. I don't think I had too many friends that don't like me, or enemies for that matter.
I was going to say, like, once you, like, figure out your likes and dislikes, once you figure out your likes and dislikes, you'll find out, like, not everybody is going to be your friend. You decide to, like, be on your own and learn more stuff about yourself. So that's why I think I lost friendships, because I'm learning more about myself and learning what I like and dislike. So I think that's what keep me going in this pandemic.
Oh, I ain't lost no friends. Not none worth keeping, but I don't know. I ain't, no. I don't think I didn't lose any friends. I think all my friendships are pretty much solid. I have my, you got your different sections of friends. You got the ones that, are saved, and you got the ones that's not saved, because before you were saved, you were in the world once upon a time. But they understand, my walk with God. They may not be walking with God, but they know I am. So we've been friends because they can respect me enough, and I respect them for what they is or ain't doing.
Have you made any changes or set goals during this pandemic?
Definitely have made a lot of changes during this pandemic. Like everybody been saying, it's a lot of time by yourself, so you're really getting to know who you are and learn what you like and don't like. I would say the biggest goal for me was getting to go back to school, and I actually got the call yesterday for me to be approved for school and be able to go ahead and just get it right into my classes. So that was one of my goals that I had like been really set on and really been thinking about since I've been going through this pandemic.
Amen. Well, one thing I've learned is that I found out that I actually like some new things. I actually started looking into like sound engineering, really trying to figure out some things to kind of keep my mind steady, keep myself busy. So I figured out I like video, I like audio, just things of that sort. I'm just trying to just be a student of everything that I call my craft, you know. So stay sharp.
What is one thing you've learned about yourself during this pandemic?
I learned a lot about other people and their beliefs and how they like to move. I learned a lot about how people let stuff bother them. During the whole pandemic, it's really it's hard to get into drama when you're not around a lot of people. So when you find out who really can find drama in a situation like this, it just lets you know who you need to distance yourself from. And you need to focus on your standards and your peace. And at the same time, you know, still not be scared to enjoy life to the fullest. Because I know a lot of people are scared to actually live at this point as if they weren't already. Now it's like putting people in a box. And I feel like you can't be scared to get out to interact with people, at the same time keeping your distance. But like I said, you got to go in your standards and figure out who's healthy for your situation and who's toxic. And I learned that a lot about the pandemic.
I guess one thing I learned about myself is that this probably the biggest thing we've been talking about is everybody is not gonna like you, everybody is not for you, and I learned that fast being alone. I live by myself, so me being 21 and just having to be by myself when I'm used to being around my coworkers or my friends or whoever, I learned very quickly that everybody was not my friend, everybody is not for me, everybody don't have the same goals that I have, the same heart that I have. So I think it ended up helping me a lot and making me grow and mature more than I already have and focusing more on me instead of what other people want me to do, how other people feel about what I'm doing, where other people want me to be, what people want me to do at work or for church. Like that literally was how I was living. So now that after the pandemic and everything going on, I know now that like I got to keep me first, and anybody that want to be a part of my life had to go the way that I'm going, or they just want to be a part.
Man, amen.
One thing that, well, there was a lot of stuff that I learned about myself. You know, sometimes usually getting your quiet time, you go and ask God, show me people, show me them. But God used this pandemic and he showed me a whole lot about myself. And instead of me looking at, oh, what is this person doing? What is that person doing? How are they effective or, how are they productive in my life? I had to look at how am I productive in my life? Because we can go and fire people all the time. They not doing this for me. They not doing that for me. But what am I actually doing for myself? What bad habits do I have that I need to check? What attitudes, what triggers do I have that has gone unchecked? And like those small little foxes, not nothing big, like, sin nature, not nothing big like that, but those small things, those things we did in private that we kept hidden and dormant. I had to deal with a lot of stuff concerning myself about those things for me, for my growth in the world, and as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter, as a girlfriend, as, a daughter in Christ. I had to deal with a lot of the small things that I didn't see as being big.
I want to add on because I feel like I've always been a person to like try to please others instead of like pleasing myself. Like I had to learn like what was pleasing to God. Like I had to find myself through this pandemic. Like even though I'm still learning day by day, I'm still learning more about myself and finding what I like for myself. If y'all understand what I mean. What can you do now that you couldn't do a year ago?
Pray. I could pray heaven down now that I couldn't do a year ago. I could pray. Oh, I'm for real. Y'all think I'm playing? That's big. I've been able to like really tap into the whole other level in God, a whole other spiritual realm that I thought I would never achieve or get to. You know, you get to get to a certain point in God, and you think I done arrived, I done made it, and then you go so much longer without, getting another stride or getting a second wind. So I was able to pray, and my prayers actually reach heaven.
I would say one thing that I couldn't do a year ago was actually express to family how I kind of felt over the years, just as like childhood things that kind of shook me a little, and really just opened up to people that's actually close to me. Because sometimes you look at those people and be like, well, they probably already know, when they really don't. And sometimes we hold it against them, like, well, you should know this. You're this close to me, but you have to still open up and tell these people, how you feel and get it off your chest, because it'll eat at you. Sometimes you ain't gonna be able to sleep at night to really just get it off your chest and really just mend relationships with family members that you let someone else sabotage.
I do want to add, I have learned something about myself too. Well, especially a year ago, I was not able to disagree or have a vocal conflict without losing it. Like I definitely, I'll be on a different rocker, you know what I'm saying? So now I know how to calmly express my opinion. I know how to walk away. I know when to walk away. I know how to say things. I know how to check my tone. I know what to expect from a certain person, depending on who I'm talking to during that conflict or conversation. And I think that's a big deal. I think we all need to know how to check our tone and how we speak to people, because that definitely changed the outcome of your situation.
How do you keep negative, appropriate things?
I definitely deleted all my social, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all gone.
You can unfriend people and block people, but I definitely do that. But what I would definitely say that I would, for our age group, is that deleting it and all of that is important, but actually not wanting to see it, like getting to the point where you don't want to see it, is the easiest way. You gotta not want to see it. You gotta not want to watch it. You gotta want to be different. So I would definitely say blocking them and deleting them and cleaning up your Facebook, or making another one. Because, I know I've been had mine for probably since I was 13. So, yeah.
Or you can like fast from it, like, or you can probably like do a week without social media or something like that, and see how your life changes, or like that past week changes, and see what you can do other than being on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and other things like that. Just, I don't know, like make up time for something else that you need to do instead of being on Facebook and stuff like that.
I don't know if anybody else know, but social media has its own spirit. And so, like, whatever can capture your eyes can capture your heart. And for the most part, people see social media as, like, something to do in the past time. They go on there and they spew out their own opinions about stuff that ain't nobody asked them. They go on there and they looking at naked women or naked men, and they into all this stuff. That stuff carries a spirit. So you're going to really have to, like Imani said, like, basically check yourself. Not even having the desire to want to see those things or look up those things is not enough to say, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. You're going to have to eventually like just be strong enough to say, okay, I need to do something about this, like immediately.
Sorry, I was going to add on to that, because if you notice, like on Facebook, it asks you like what's on your mind, like before you make a status or anything like that. So it's like you like capturing everybody else like mind space. It's like everybody posting whatever they want to post, and it's like putting a burden on you because it's like you know everything. It's like Facebook don't have no type of limit. You can see any and everything on there. So it's good to like fast and, you know, cleanse your body, cleanse your spirit so you won't have to go into that no more.
And to kind of piggyback on that too, minorly, really watch what you say, because if you notice, sometimes you might talk about food like, oh, I think I want a burger, and you look on Facebook, an ad be like, huh, try this burger. We have a new burger out. Like, really watch what you say, because these phones, they pick up what you say, and then you'll start picking up on yourself. Okay, I need to watch what I say anyway. It just, it pops up.
How often do you pray? Hey, I pray every day. Like every time I get up, that's when I pray. Because people got to realize that you can't take that for granted when you wake up. Like not too many people wake up, so I feel like that's a blessing to wake up. That's my first prayer when I get up.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I've been slacking. I make sure I pray over my food, but I pray over my family for the most part. Every week, every month, I pray over the church. Hey, you gotta pray as much as you can, and that's what we learn here at this church, to pray often, fast often, and read our books, read our stuff.
I gotta pray every day. I work at the hospital. I don't know if it's any nurses or people in healthcare, but they make me wanna. But it going to work, with me having to get up early in the morning to go to work, I have to start my mornings off with prayer. When I'm on the way there, in the middle of the day, before I even get off my shift, to make sure that what I've, in my emotions, what I've collected as I've dealt with doctors, nurses, and patients, and other nursing assistants, to make sure that I don't have any ill feelings or anything in my heart against them. Because if I got to go in the next day, I don't want to carry that stuff over into another day. I got to pray that, because God allowed me to see another day that I ain't never seen before, to make this day as purposeful as possible, as fruitful as possible, even if I am just going to work or if I'm just going to go work out the next day. I have to pray like literally every day for myself, because I will lose it.
I just want to thank God for my wife, because she prays for us every day.
Hashtag millennial marriage.
All right, being transparent, how has this pandemic played a part in your mental health?
Okay, so listen, because this question is so serious, because I did not know how much I needed to work on being alone. I did not. I'm the oldest of 5. I got both my parents, coming here every week, being around my friends, dancing, working. When I got to the point where it was just like, stop, nothing. You're not going nowhere. My mental health was like, you not this and you not that. No, you can't do this and you can't do that. And you don't love God for real. And it really got to be to the point where I had to really like just get my thoughts straight. And then I'm like, Imani, you need to just pray, because this ain't nothing but the devil or, the enemy trying to get in your head and tell you that you not who you thought you was the whole time. And I'm definitely not who I thought I was before the pandemic, because it definitely is a change. But learning to stand strong on my own came when I was by myself, and that really started with my mind. I would say my mind was more affected than anything with the pandemic.
I would say it done a lot to my mental health, because you expect a lot of people to be how you is. So like with the pandemic, it opened. I don't know if it opened just my eyes. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all too. But to see stuff from a different point of view and not just from yours, because you always expect people to be how you is to them, and it show you a lot that a lot of the stuff you just better off being by yourself, or you don't always have to let everything affect you, or such little stuff get to you. You learn to just like ignore certain stuff or just walk away from it.
Thankfully, I have a praying mother. So a lot of the stuff that could have happened, that might have happened for other people, because of her prayers, and because of the prayers of my father, the prayers of my grandmother, the prayers of my aunts, the prayers of my godmother, because of them, a lot of the stuff that I could have gotten lost in, or I could have, did in, within my confines of my mind. I could have, been basically in my own personal jail, but they didn't allow that to happen or for that to become my testimony.
Okay, we have another question. How can the older saints in the church support you during the pandemic? Or how do you feel that you have been let down by older saints in the church during this pandemic?
I would say older saints, but okay, the seasoned saints, they can like just listen to us. We love to have like a listening ear, and if they can give like feedback that can help us, that would be awesome. Like, we just need somebody to listen to us and hear us out, not just listen to respond, just listen to like understand us. So I think that's a big impact for us.
Or I think not being so quick to judge us, to like listen to the stuff we gotta say or actual stuff we go through before just judging us or putting a certain perspective on us.
I would say the one thing that kind of helped me out was I live with my grandmother, so I live with a seasoned saint. She's starting to be more open to really understand that she was my age before, and things are way different from when she was my age. We have more access, and Pastor talk about it a lot. We have way more access to things that they had, from just books. Now we have it on our phone. You can be in your room and just be, on your phone, whatever, and just go off into. So to understand that some of the mistakes that we made or that we are making, especially during this pandemic, being alone and trying to find things to do, to understand that, you were our age before, and to kind of, instead of just saying, well, y'all doing all this and y'all doing all that, just come to us and say, hey, around your age, we did this too. At least acknowledge the fact that you understand that you have been where we are. Instead of just saying that you shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that, it makes it easier for us to understand what you're trying to tell us when we know that you've been in our shoes before.
I was gonna add on to it for the season saints in church wise, I would say, and to like keep some of the younger saints in church. Be more open to the different ministries that's being opened up. Yes, there are different ministries that that y'all have had before us, but like our church got a whole media ministry now, and that's needed now. So I would say for the older saints is being open and remembering that times have changed, and what you know or what you remember is not how things work, and it will not work even for you right now, because like I said, we need social media to even just do this with y'all right now. So the way that we dance or the clothes that we wear or the, however we decide to sing on the praise team or whatever, long as it's okay, with our pastor, I think y'all should be open to it and be okay with it and know that at the end of the day, it's all for God, even if it's the way you did it 10 years ago or if it's how it is right now in 2020.
To add on to that, because like the time have changed. I can't get my words out, but the time changed, and it's like when we were younger, we had to accept the hymns and all the different songs and stuff like that. But now that we have different upbeat music, worship music and stuff like that, I feel like it's okay to accept what we have now. I mean, because we accepted when we was younger, so why
not? Definitely piggyback off of what everybody else has said. Times are changing. It's more progressive. Kids are into any and everything, and that's what we just gotta know. People are. It's like it's a whole other world out there, and it's still parts of it we still don't know, but we're still a part of all of it. We still see everything. We, whether we're doing the stuff ourselves or we just see it on social media, literally everything is at the palm of our hand. You didn't have that coming up. Everything, some people saw was literally on TV or, by word of mouth or from a letter. We got stuff that you can get in seconds. So just understanding and, being understanding, being open-minded to change. That change is good. It may not be the change that you're hoping for, that you're, expecting, or that, for the church to move forward. It's not the same as it was when we were coming up in the 90s, some of us. The 90s, early 2000s, where all the churches were packed out. But we have to be open-minded to accepting, kids are going through stuff that a lot of us just haven't openly expressed or even gone through. Kids are experiencing stuff at an all-time high now. So, getting all people, all different types from all walks of life coming into the church doors. We have to, be understanding, not be quick to judge, loving. And we don't get that enough from our seasoned saints. And that's just, to be honest, and that's all we need. We just need to be loved on, to be, nurtured, and to be, loved past what you see in that moment. Because it won't be like that always. We won't be those same broken people that comes into the church doors and you see us as we are in that moment. Your love, your prayers, your compassion, your hugs, your smiles, all that stuff bring us out of the dark places that we came into.
I do want to add on to what Ferg was saying about seasoned saints being our age at one point, and addressing the things we're doing wrong, or if we're messing up in life, or we're taking the wrong path, instead of targeting us when we doing something wrong and talking about the whole generation as a whole, because we are not all the same. If it's a specific situation that you have a problem with and that we're struggling with and we want to get out of, and you know that you've either dealt with it or you know somebody that dealt with it, I think the way to address certain things in that aspect is to first hear us out, what's brought us to that point, and then offer a solution based off of your experience on how you broke that cycle, or how you got out that habit, or how a friend or family member dealt with the same thing, and come to a relate state with the conversation and the situation at hand. And another thing, like with this being 2020 and everybody, we're going through changes and all this stuff, I think before everybody forms this is for both generations, anybody forms an opinion, you definitely got to do your research on that topic, because the first thing you want to do is say, well, we didn't do this at this time, or I've heard about people doing this and this happened to them. Well, at the end of the day, if you don't do that research, if you don't tap in, you don't understand, your opinion will be void at the same time, and now you started a conflict because you just talked on something you didn't know nothing about, when in reality you could have enjoyed that, and then you find out you really do like it, so.
Those were all good answers. What are 3 things you believe about God?
I think I want to go ahead and jump on this one because he's been, for one, the first thing I've noticed for him, he's definitely a sustainer. Even when I slip and fall, he still sustains me to be able to pick myself back up, with his help, of course, and with those around me, to pick me back up and get me back on track. The second thing is he's definitely a provider, because definitely during this pandemic, I can say that I haven't really wanted for anything. As far as necessities, of course, you want certain things, but you realize that, instead of buying drums this month, let's go ahead and start buying let's get some food. Let's get some food and start cooking at home and things of that sort. And then the third thing is that he's definitely forgiven. He's never failed me. That's even before the pandemic. These are the 3 things that I've really held on to, especially during this pandemic as well, that he's clutch, man. That's all I can really say. God's clutch, man.
I would say, one, he's a protector. He protected my mind. I did not lose it during this pandemic. What else? Let me see. He's trustworthy. Like, I can go to him and tell him anything, and he'll respond to me anyway, like through a person or through reading or through music. It don't matter. Like, he gonna respond back to me some type of way. And my third one, I would say, he's just been solid. He's always been there. He never left me. He never leave me or forsake me. But he just been there the whole time. Like, he never left me. That's
Okay, so we gonna flip it around. We understand that y'all said y'all want to be not judged, y'all want to be heard, y'all want to be respected for being the person you are, not seen as a kid. You want to be treated as an adult. So how can the millennials in the church be a help to the seasoned saints, to the older saints? How can you help them?
I would say listen at the same time. Yes, they can be very rough, but I can say I've learned something from every person at the church, at anywhere really, who has been older or whatever. Long as you listen to them and take out, even if they like you this, you that, it's one thing in the middle that's gonna be able to help you. I've learned that by working with older people and stuff like that. They just like to be listened to, and then only go to, I think, what I was gonna say. The only thing that I would say millennials don't do is talk back, I guess you could say. Like if a person coming to you, oh, you did this wrong, you're not listening to them. You kind of like talking back. So you hear kind of what they saying, and so you rambling off. So I think just listening, just like we asking them to listen, I think we all just need to listen to each other and love each other, even if we are young or old.
And to add on to something she said, not to like be so quick to always feel like can't nobody tell us nothing because we grown too. We should sometimes listen to what they got to say because 9 times out of 10, they've been through what we've been through plus more. So we shouldn't be so quick to just feel like we don't have to listen to nothing nobody tell us because we grown.
And just pay attention. Come to church and just be on the phone or talking and playing, and then wonder why we go to church, but we don't never listen to get an understanding.
Everybody said exactly like what needs to happen. We got to respect them. If we want them to respect us, we got to respect them the same way. They may not say anything they may say some things to us that, oh, I just feel like they shouldn't have said that. Well, they ain't wrong to not say it, and we gotta get out of our feelings so much. We be so into our feelings, like, why would they say that to me, and that hurt my feelings. Okay, but you need to hear it and hear it again. Like the older women here, if you just listen to them, they have so much wisdom to pour out. If you just sit up under them, from time to time, they have so much to give back that they've already taken in from decades. They've seen stuff I ain't never seen before, and they've lived through things I don't think I could have ever made it through. So just being able for them to say to me certain things that I may not understand it in that moment, but later on it's gonna help me. So just being able to listen to them and adhere to what they're saying, and not bore at them like, oh, they see now, they don't know what they're talking about. This 2020, I'm something years old. This is that. I'm gonna do stuff my own way. No, it's always another way, and that's just what we gotta know.
One thing that I've actually learned too is we should serve them more than what we've been doing. Serving, sometimes you can start figuring out things about yourself. You actually start to learn things to say, okay, you treat them the way that you want to be treated. So when you get to that age, you will be treated the same way. That's what I believe. I learned that especially when I came here, was my pastor is real big on serving. He serves himself. I mean, he's a national figure in the church, and yet he still serves the older men in the church. And me watching him as a young man and still growing to be a man, or to be a better man, watching him, I didn't have a real dad figure, so watching him serve, and I'm like, this dude is the pastor, and he's up in here, like even right now, he's here with us right now during this panel. He serves us, and while we're serving him, it's a give and take type of thing, and that helped me a lot to really just get closer to people that's older than me, no matter the age. I mean, even us, we can serve each other. I mean, just serve, and you will learn things about these people that you serve. I mean, that's me.
Shout out to our pastor, Christopher Martin, the best pastor in the world. Y'all should come to Cathedral of Faith and get a good word. Yes, sir.
To piggyback off of what the fellas said, our pastor is amazing, and so is his wife. But a lot of younger girls that either are in the church or aren't in the church, for them to lack so much, they don't want to go anywhere to receive what they lack. And also, when they do lack certain things, there are people that they see that, but they don't engage with them because of maybe how they look or how they come off. So seeing younger girls that probably didn't grow up with their mother, or their mother wasn't as good of a mother as they feel like they should have been. Looking past, from their title to their humanity, they weren't as good as of a parent as they felt like they needed to. And they didn't prepare them for things that a lady, not just a woman, but as a lady and as an adult, the things that they feel like they should have learned from their mothers or from their fathers. So us being able to just acknowledge the fact that we lack in some areas, and that there's a woman out there that I know for sure I can cling to and I can learn from and I can grow from. And I feel like at this church we have a lot of ladies that we can mirror until we figure out who we want to be and the type of woman, mother, sister, daughter we want to be in the future.
Okay, now since we on COF, how do you feel your ideas have been responded to here, and why should other young adults consider this church?
So our young adult program has definitely changed now, but we get asked everything, whether it's about young adults or if it's not. It could be the flyer that's going up for y'all to join. They ask us, is this okay? How do it look? I think that we are very well asked or put in or involved, whether it be about this weekend or if it be about next Sunday. We're all involved. All of us play a part. All of us are in the ministry. Our pastor listens to us and he cares about us a lot. So what am I trying to say? We are, I don't know, we lead our young adult program, not somebody else. We are the young adults, so we get asked, we make the decisions, we plan it all out when it comes to our ideas and stuff like that. And the reason that you should come to COF and be a part of the young adult program is because we're doing stuff like this and we look awesome, and you guys and we always have something going on. I mean, we have concerts. We have, like I said, we have even just our Wednesday. Before the pandemic, we would have young adult class, and even if it's a spiritual, if it's just about how do I get from point A to point B, it's stuff that we did. And I can honestly say for every young adult, the ones that's up here and the ones that are not here with us, all of us have made big strides, whether it had been last year or this year. We all have made big goals and big strides based off the people that we have around us here. So that's why y'all should be a part of our young adult program, because you'll be great.
And to add on to that, it's like a learning experience. You learn from different people. Like, we have married couples. We have a lot of things that's going on in this church. So it's like a learning experience. You get to learn a lot about us, a lot about the older saints and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a free church. You feel welcome to be here. It's more young adults here, and you get to learn from each other.
It's a family here for real. We may not always agree on everything that's said from leadership on down, but we need to hear it. We all, at some point we spend some time together, we break bread, and people need those types of communities. You can't just find your community in your friends. At some point, on the outside, it's so much more to gain other than just, they making us dress up. They making us raise offerings. They asking for money all the time. Whatever. People ask for money out there in the world. So why can't y'all come in here and we ask y'all for some money? I'm just saying. But it's love here. It's love here. It's correction here. Healthy correction. It's healthy communication here. Nowhere is perfect, for sure. I don't know if y'all heard anything about here or not. But nowhere is perfect. Everybody's growing. Everybody's learning how to grow together. And we strive for perfection. We strive to be better as a church and as a whole, just as people, period. Not just getting us how to bear our cross on earth, but how to just, be good people in society and, getting us to the cross someday. That's why you need to be here.
I just want to say I am a rapper. Kev Mandel, Happily Changed, is on all platforms. Shout out to my pastor. Shout out to my pastor for investing in that album. When I came to the church in 2017, I was a regular rapper, didn't know what I wanted to put out, but I knew what I wanted to be remembered by. So by the end of that year, I was convinced that I needed to do a gospel album. So it's semi-gospel, but it's more just realism. And in 2018, I came to him with a business plan, projections, the pricing, everything, and he invested in me, and he helped me put that album out. And I'm forever grateful for that. And that's what I love about our church is I'm not the only one that get invested into. We have the tech ministry, the band, anybody who has an idea and an event. As a young adult, if it's a stretch to get Christ out there and God out there, we invest in that. And it's a lot of support. I know it's a lot of people I went to. I released music, unreleased music to people, and they heard our lyrics, bars, whatever, and they supported me, and I felt so at home when I first got here, where usually you look down on by rapping and, you know, trying to bring that genre to church. And I'm glad that we are now embracing that, and we embrace it 100% here. So thank you for that support.
And then I guess to piggyback on that too, as a musician, you start seeing a whole lot of, especially when rapping and stuff like that, and try to merge that with just the traditional church. Is like people come to Christ in different ways. People learn stuff different ways, and like especially here, they're always open to another way, especially for the young people to get them into the church and more involved, because a lot of churches, I feel like personally they fail at keeping their young people because they don't have them involved. It's just like they're there and they're just like, all right, well, this really doesn't interest me, and if something doesn't interest you, you're not gonna stick around that long. I mean, that's just anything. So one thing that we do pride ourselves about is always being open to other ways to win souls, because especially these days, it's 2020, you know, we learn things different ways. We have so much access to stuff, and it's like, you never know. I mean, somebody might come to Christ just from listening to some rap lyrics, and somebody else might come from just old-fashioned church. You never know, and we try to bridge that to just win. We don't look just for the young people. We're looking at the older, young, little babies from on up. You know, we're always open to other outlets. So that's what I like about COF.
So networking here. Everywhere you go, everything you do is always a networking possibility. It's always people that can get you somewhere. It's not about what you know, about who you know, even if you know a lot, but connections matter. So it was networking here. You can, you know, come across somebody that might be into the same stuff you into, or they might have a business venture for you in the future, or something that you've been trying to do and striving to do, but you can never quite get there. As soon as you come to this church or any church, get to somebody's church. Bottom line, get to somebody's church. It's bad out here.
And our young adult ministry is hard. We dope. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Jones for backing us on everything we do, helping us put everything together, working tirelessly through the day to make stuff happen. We, like I said, we have the best support. We got the best young adult ministry. Come check it out. Hands down.
All right, thank you. Let's thank God for COF and how they help our young adults evolve. Another question I have for you is, how can your generation help the younger generation after you?
So doing what we're doing right now, letting them know that they are not the only ones feeling however they're feeling, and that we understand how they felt maybe when they were 13 to 18 years old. No, we can't tell them what life is going to be like, but for right now, how to deal with a parent, how to get closer to Christ, or even just making that first step to not even getting closer, but just getting there, period. We can tell them that. I'm a teacher's aide right now, and I think the biggest thing that I learned is that each child needs somebody that look like them. And what I mean look like them is somebody that understand where they're coming from and letting them know this is a better way to do it. So us being up here right now and us doing the thing that we're doing and always keeping a good, positive, like role model thing in front of them and talking to them, and our youth here that's under us, they come to us too. Not only just their parents, but they ask us stuff. And we got some good youth here as well, just from them being around us. Everything that they do, we're at. So they'll know it's okay to do this. It's okay to hang with your church friends and be at your pastor house and watching a movie. You don't have to be at home playing 2K or somewhere out in the streets at 18 because you're 18 or because you're 16. You can be here with us and feel like a teenager and not like you always in church all the time. So just being there with them and letting them know, like, I did this before and this is how I got through it, or showing them a different way, because that's what I do with the girls that I mentor. I show them how not to go the same way that I went from the time that I was a teenager up until I graduated as a senior. That was probably the worst time for me, like attitude-wise and stuff like that. So showing them, like, you don't want to be like that because this is how it is, that could help the generation under us.
Our panel is called To Be Honest, right? Oh, some of these kids just need a whooping. That's all that is. They just need a whooping, a little discipline. Spare the rod, spoil the child. You know, they just some hard discipline. Go ahead and get in here because I said so, and then leave it at that. That's
We
how it
know
just
some
gotta
of
be.
y'all by the fact that y'all ain't got no whoopings. We know who was raised right and who wasn't. Y'all attitudes y'all missed out on too many whoopings. Y'all parents messed y'all up. Y'all missed out on too many whoopings. Your grandma should have sent you outside to get that switch. Like look.
I got a whooping on the front row in Sunday school. What you mean?
Period. I'm still scared of my mama. And I'm about to be 24 next year. To this day.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how easy is it for you to just let things go?
Easy. It's easy. When you choose the latter, which is the easier way out, because it's hard walking this walk. This ain't no cakewalk. This not a walk in the park. You fall down, you get back up. You might fall down again, you get right back up. It's a lot of falling down and getting back up, but you figure out at some point, I got to stop falling. You gonna fall, but you're not gonna fail. And so it's easier to say, I'm not going to do church and go into the world. God ain't the only person that gives good gifts. Satan gives really good gifts and really good options. So when God presents church to us and we go down a list of, I don't like this about the church, I don't like that about the church, the people in there are messy, but your friend's messy. Your family member's messy. The church takes money from me. Okay, but your family members take money from me that you ain't seeing, and they owe you $20 from 1955. So you go down a list of the things that you don't like about the church, but you don't go down a list of the things that I don't like about the world or that I don't like about myself. And so it's easier to go to the world because the world ain't telling you, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should do this instead, and it's a healthier alternative for you in the long run versus, going into the world and ain't nobody holding you accountable for nothing. God holds you accountable. The world doesn't. The world is going to hold you accountable once you're completely fallen. The church going to hold you accountable, and God going to hold you accountable, and he's going to restore you back to the world and back to the church. Because at the end of the day, you a bride of Christ. So it's always easier to choose a cop-out move of, I'm not going to do this no more. I'm not going to do church. And all necessarily it's not that you left church. You left God. You walked away from somewhere that God told you to be at because of whatever you were feeling. You got in your feelings. You got into your head. Somebody or something decided to pray and talked against everything that you'd been brought up on. Your grandmama used to bring you to church, and you was all saved and whatnot. And once you got that good glimpse of freedom, and here go this other option. It look real shiny, look real good, and you take it. And then you get dragged through the mud for 30 years, and then you find yourself right back where God had already had you at in the first place. So it's way easy to just go ahead and say, I'm done. And God ain't going to chase you. He ain't chasing nobody that don't want to be, ain't nobody being killed that don't want to be killed.
You can't talk after you got one.
And then speaking for other people, because myself included, it's not always as easy to let stuff go. But as you grow, it will get easier. I'm not going to say it's always easy, because sometimes I have to tell myself, like, okay, just let it go. Because some stuff not that easy to let go. But as you grow, you'll learn that stuff get easier. I'm not going to always say it's just, okay, just can let it go. But you'll eventually get there.
As you have shared with us how easy it is to let things go, what are some of the things that you would like to let go of?
I would like to let go of, which, like I was saying at the beginning, let go of where a certain person wanted me to be. I'm ready to let go of what I thought that person thought about me or whatever. Like, now it's time for me to just do what God want me to do and where God want me to be at. And I've been like right, where He want me to be, but I'm not there. So I would say definitely letting go of where a certain person wants me to be in my life.
Oh, okay, I would say people, not necessarily people though. Like maybe like relationships or bonds, because some people they just they don't want the good for you. They want you to, or they don't want to accept that you're trying to change or even help you change. They want everything to always be how it always was or so negative. They don't want to accept that you're trying to grow for yourself. So some people you gotta let them go.
I'm gonna agree with that. You'll let people go, and also for me, just let that foot go that's trying to get back into the world. Like, come on now, like bring that foot back this way. You trying, like, come on, like, what are you doing? You know your relationship with God, and I don't want to lose that. I already have a good relationship with God, so why not just keep bring that foot back here and maintain that relationship with God? So that's what I need to let go.
I got one for y'all. I'm trying to let fried food go. And some of us need to learn how to push the plate away. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to fast because that's very important. Fasting really strengthens your mind and your body. It puts you in a whole nother level with Christ when you sitting there and you fasting and you studying and you praying throughout the whole fast. And you gotta really push yourself to be that mentally strong, to push the plate away, to get off the chicken and the ribs and all the grease. And that's a very hard thing to let go, and that's what I want to get away from, you know what I'm saying? Caesar salad's been my best friend. Youth motivation, yes, sir, yeah. Pastor out here looking good, I can say that.
I would say one thing I've worked on, especially this pandemic, because I'm very controlled. I don't get into my emotions. If I'm bothered by something, you would never know. So I know that if I'm always in control, God can't do what He needs to do in me if I'm always trying to control myself. So I've always been taught to, you don't let nobody get you out of character. Or that's not what you're supposed to do. You shouldn't do that. I was raised right, but it's in the wrong situation. So if God needs to shake something up in me, I can't get that shaken up for real, as much as I need it. I can't get that shaken up because that's not me. That's not my personality to be uncontrolled. So if I could let control go, that'd be one thing.
Let me add one more thing. McDonald's is the devil. McDonald's is the devil. That food is not the same, man.
That food age, like, it takes 2 years for that. They don't even
You know
break
what I'm
down.
saying?
Why'd you eating that?
Them nuggets not hitting like they used to. I just got to put that out there. I'm done.
It's
I just
not
had
the
to say
same
that.
seasoning.
I used to love McChicken nuggets.
It's not the same seasoning. You can smell it. It don't smell the same.
It don't even rot.
That sauce ain't even that good.
All right, I'm done.
I heard them spicy nuggets hitting though. You said no?
Thank you. Those were some great answers. Now, you being young adults, being in the church, what are some of the emotions do you have the most trouble expressing?
I got one. Oh, this is gonna be good too. When I'm mad at somebody, I have a hard time of telling them that I'm mad. So it's hard for me to express disdain against the church. Cause you like, dang, I grew up with it, and I was raised, and I'm born in Kojic. Everybody know. So once you're born into that, you love it. But then when certain things happen, it's hard for you to kind of express that, this same church that I love so much. At some point, it either made me mad, it hurt my feelings, it disgusted me. So it's hard for me to express those things without, separating, me expressing myself from me actually like full on disliking it. Like, I don't even want to come back.
I think the one thing that I struggled with expressing was that sometimes I was defeated. Of course, in church, we've always been told that, you're a winner on the Lord's side, but sometimes you do get to that point where you feel defeated. I mean, it's part of the process. I mean, I had to learn that it's part of the process. You feel defeated. Just because you feel defeated don't mean that you are defeated, though. So that's me.
I was gonna say the separating like emotions, period, and being a young adult that's in church, people in the world think that we are not supposed to feel defeated. We're not supposed to, just do anything that a young adult does. So being a young adult and also being in church, I think that just holding all the emotions in, whatever emotion we feel, is hard in its own. Because I definitely have experienced, or know friends of here that have experienced them feeling some type of way, and then family in their life being like, oh, but you in church, or why you feeling like that? Why you don't ask your God? Why you don't ask your pastor?
Ain't
And I
you
think,
supposed to be saved?
and that's not just young adults. That's everybody that go to COF. But that's it. This emotions period, holding them in, and trying to keep yourself composed as a young adult that go to church is hard in its own.
Title as being young adults or being Christians, it does not supersede our humanity. We at the bottom line, we human. Bottom line, we go through stuff just like everybody else. We are not excluded from being categorized or being put in, emotional bondages. We go through that stuff. We are not, we're not no better than anybody. Y'all might feel like that. Some people might feel like that, but bottom line is we're humans. Whether we're Christian, whether we're supposed to be saved, as some people say, how do you go to church and you're experiencing all that stuff? That doesn't exclude us from trials and tribulations.
And we probably the dopest young adults y'all know. So maybe that's why, that's probably why we feel that way, because every young adult at this church got something going on. So when we are not here, it do feel like people judging us and making us feel like we can't feel no type of way because we're young adults. But it's because the young adults at COF are the dopest young adults in the city.
No lie. I do want to add on, too. I can't stand when people hit you with I thought you was saved. And, bro, first of all, if you come for me, that's one thing. I could take some hits, I could take some heat. But when it comes to my wife, my kids, my church, my God, you could get the hands. And that's just me for real. I'm just going to be 100. But I try not to let it get to that point, That's what we are supposed to do, not let it get to that point. But if I get an attitude, sometimes you just got to let me breathe. I just need some space. Let me chill. Why you want to badger me over my shoulder like I can't be human?